Welcome back to Manor Farm. Coming up, defining the subtle differences between a pale ale and an IPA. Jager Wise has all the answers in today's beer-themed Best of British. If she's got any pork scratchings, you know. And taking on the bard for a tale of mistaken identities and practical jokes, Jane Asher, treading the boards in Shakespeare's romantic comedy Twelfth Night. But first, we're kick-starting another year celebrating the creative artisan craftspeople of Britain with a Love Your Weekend first. Let me introduce you to pyrography, an art form dating back to prehistoric times when early humans created designs using charred remains of their fires, more commonly recognised today as wood burning. The craft involves burning images, designs and words into cuts of dried wood using heated tools. Here to share her skill and passion for the craft, welcome artist and sculptor Ruth Wheeler. Ruth, I'm blown away. When we were little, there was a church bazaar and there was a lady there with one of these things and she did little name plaques for your bedroom door, and I thought that's all you could do with charred wood. This is amazing.
Thank you. Well, I did start off doing lots of decorations and names and personalising.
Yeah. So you're an art teacher, so you embrace all kinds of art then, but this is obviously close to your heart.
I've always had a passion for trees.
Yeah.
From when I was really little, painting trees, drawing trees. So when I went to art college, I did start working with wood.
Yeah. And
I was sculpting at the time. As time's gone on, I had loft cuts from my sculptures and I started to...
What you do with them? I mean, this is a far cry from Kevin on a piece of wood engraved, isn't it? You've got birch trees on here. The wood is what in this case?
This is a piece of red oak from Sussex. So I use only local, sustainable wood.
Yeah.
And bite in really long planks, season it, cut it up.
Seasoning's important, isn't it? Or you get these, because they call them shakes in oak, don't they, when they crack?
Season means, that it's dried out for a year or two.
Yeah.
So then it won't crack when it comes inside someone's house. It's to be dry, because if you're burning on wet wood, it doesn't work so well.
Ah, right. It slows it down, I suppose, really. It's odd to do birch on oak. It's rather a neat little way back. But I was looking at the one over there, which is gilded. This is like Klimt. You know, those wonderful Klimt paintings of a woman and there's gold all the way around it.
Yeah, so just this year I started doing the gilding.
Yeah.
I'm always looking for different ways to enhance my work, and so I've kind of just run with it. It's always something new.
Apply anything.
Yeah, mixed media. So this one for example.
This is glorious. I mean, so here's your gilding at the bottom. You've got ferns.
So there's many layers with this. So we've got the gilding, but behind that I have already burnt the bracken, the ferns, and then there's paint, different colour paints, and then the gilding, and then I have to burn back on top of the gilding as well. The trees, so everything's pre-burnt onto bare wood, which I'll show you later. And then I start applying paint. So we've got white acrylic paint over the first burn, I call it. So it's kind of so there's lots of different stages.
Like Formula One.
Yeah, well, I will show you. And then this is a special copper paint.
So this is verdigris, in effect.
It's verdigris. So I have to paint 3 coats of the copper paint, and then after the last coat, put on a solution that turns it verdigris overnight.
This is a long process, then, isn't it? It's not quick.
No.
Yeah.
It's a few weeks, and it's sort of going back over it, repainting, reburning, and if something doesn't work, do it again.
You can start again.
Yeah.
We need to find out how you do it. So the kit's over here. So show us what you do.
So these machines here, these are the ones that I teach on my courses.
Yeah.
So I run classes, and it's very much just simple. It's really simple. That's what I love about photography. It's really accessible for everybody. So it's basically just a box. It's got an on-off switch and it's got temperature control. The one thing I would say is try to find a machine that's got the finest tips. They come in all shapes and sizes.
Oh, that one's thicker.
This is a spoon, like a spoon shading one. This is a wire. Would you like me to show you this one?
Yeah, show us what it does.
Okay.
You've got a little bit of...
So I'll show you. I'll just make a little mark. So this is on the hottest. You can see it's glowing red. You do need to make sure that your fingers are not anywhere near the metal, so you're on the handle. You can also, if you are working inside for prolonged periods, you need to wear a mask.
Up a little bit so we can see what you're doing. That's it. Yeah.
So I'm not pushing. I'm not
You're just
pressing.
resting, really.
It's just resting.
Yeah.
So you can see, the longer I hold it on, the bigger the dot.
Yeah.
If I was to go quickly, that's about as small as I can go on the hottest.
Now here, with these birch trees that you've done on here, you're sort of outlining your shapes in pencil, so you've got your guideline.
I have.
And then with the long lines, you're just running up it then, rather than dotting.
I can do it with this one.
Yeah.
I might need to turn the temperature up. So different woods requires different temperatures. So a birch ply, which I was just using, is softer.
Yeah.
So you need to turn it down to get a line. I'll just show you.
Yeah.
So it's like gliding or
and it's just an experience, isn't it? It's just practice and seeing what works on which wood. Let's have a look at your painting process now, because you've got here a glorious ferns that you've done, and you've got paintwork. So show me what you're doing with the paint.
Need the brush. Thank you.
Right.
So when you're using paint, I find acrylics work the best.
Right.
I'm completely going over what I've burnt. So the reason I've done all those marks is for the texture to come through. Right. Now the first coat, you can see, is going to dry, and I'm going to have to do 2 or 3 coats actually. So you can see I'm just really roughly, I'm not being too precious about it. I'm just.
So when you've done that.
So this one. Can you see that's one coat?
Yes, you can see underneath
it needs to be done again.
Yeah.
This is a little bit thicker. If you go too thick, then you can't burn through it very well.
Right.
The reason you want to use water-based is so that it's not toxic. So oil-based paints don't work.
Too unpleasant.
Yeah. And then,
over the top again.
see.